Hey, how you doing, Heavy G?
Pretty good. What do you got going on, Professor Xerox? I heard
Oh,
your sister got married, or she's gonna get married.
yes, she is. She met this great guy, and I think they love each other. Have you ever loved a woman before, Heavy G?
Let me tell you what, man. There's been a couple, and the first time I fell in love, oh my God, I was once bitten, twice smitten, and then I was shy, and I mean, it just tore me to pieces. After that, I was already drinking a lot, but then I really started drinking, and it didn't help. And so finally, I kind of got over her, but then I met this other woman, and she just kind of almost swore up and down that she was looking for a Christ-hearted man, and that's when she found me, and she was just like, it was almost like too much, almost like she was pursuing me when I didn't really want to be pursued, you know. So I don't know.
Did it mess you up?
You mean the relationship, or not at that time? It didn't mess me up, but there was I had concerns.
Hmm. Well, I mean, there's always therapy.
Well, I did go to therapy eventually, and I failed to mention that I did marry this woman, right? I told her no in the beginning, but eventually I did marry her. And, you know, when I finally went to therapy, I would have troubles telling the story. And so I found it much easier to write the story. And so maybe it would just be easier to read to you a little bit about what I wrote about what I'd gone through. Would you like that?
Well, well, yeah, you can read me this story. This
Uh,
is Trouble in Wedlock, right?
Trouble in, well, I don't know what the hell I call it, but yeah, there's some trouble. It's probably trouble out of wedlock because it was all after the divorce when I spoke about this stuff, right? And so I was driving one day through Branston, which is in Rock Point County in northern Istanbul on the planet Rawhead in the galaxy of chaos, I might add. And I was with my buddy Leavenworth, and we were driving by Prudence's old house, and I had remodeled it for close to $10,000. It's the same color as my mom's rental in my house, a gray that leans towards blue and a white trim. As I look at the house, I see the wood blinds that I had installed about 7 or 8 years ago, before I knew of subterfuge and had no clue as to mendacious acts, Machiavellian plots, and the nefarious scandal. So naive is what Prudence would say. You're so naive. She couldn't have been more correct in her word placements. Only time and the eventual trips to the court system's law library and the bookstore would cure these woes of an uneducated bliss. I have lawyers to thank for my education, as well as a wife, a judge, of course, the court reporter, not without equal regards for the master sergeant and the lieutenant commander. Also, thank you all so very much for the driving force to push the pen into overdrive. Oh, you all sit and stare into limbo. What can a simple sheetrocker do? He is hapless. This happy-go-lucky sheetrocker couldn't possibly harangue in the least, could he? A drywaller couldn't possibly, or should I say haphazardly, wade his way through a legal system, lawyerless, could he? There's no way that he could be the harbinger of anything, could he? Hmm. There is no way to battle the courts or the military, is there? I only have this sheetrocker's mind to work with. But there are books, and litigation becomes a war of words as I write my own book. Who would have thought that a sheetrocker, son of a griffin, son of a Darwin, would be a poet and a writer? Prudence knew in her mind that I could push the pen. She had seen that, but in no way do I think she ever thought that I could go toe to toe with a lawyer she has to pay thousands of dollars to. Now, I am my own counsel, and they all, every single one of them, dread the limbo of not having a clue what a sheetrocker could do. The months are turning into a year. I have 2 months and 14 days left of writing before I begin to publish this work of mine. I do hope that everyone understands this work is to battle oppression, not to harbor hate. The other cheek was turned, but when it too was slapped over and over, I was left with no choice. Bamboozled, I became bedridden all the same. In that state of the woeful countenance, I rise and sally forth to wall to the wicked. They have sought to keep me working for years to pay the taxes and the retirement for the woman that abandoned me with all the house payments for 4 properties for right next to 2.5 years. The one I helped pay for her schooling so she could enter the military. But for my family, my lawyers will not work. My first lawyer says, John, we need to get rid of the judge and move another judge in that place. Looking back, I wonder why the change in judges, in hindsight, clears the visions of a do-gooder that's easily trampled in so. Naive, right, Prudence? I've got one family and I've got one life. My lawyers apparently didn't understand that the pharmaceutical drugs and the alcohol make liars out of some people. Some of these people I call sheetrockers, and I've waded through the bog of their lies for over 20 years. I saw it before I started my business with fellow employees, and then the bombardment begins with a business license and a will to succeed. Prudence is different, though. Convincing and so subtle. She obviously has our best interest in mind, right? Oh, so naive is what she would say. We're going to have the best benefits in the world, the best health care, great retirement. But deep inside, the hidings is a plot of the Machiavellian sort as the mendacious acts start to unfold and the nefarious scandals leave me bedridden and learning how to use my muscles all over again. Before I read my brother Larry's poem, I knew not of subterfuge or mendacious acts. Religious she was, or does she even believe in God? Are all of the religious music CDs a front to the nefarious scandal of torturous consequences, burning pain on one end and burning wants from the other? A front to the nefarious scandal, the torturous consequences with burning pain on one end and burning wants from the other perfectly describe my second lawyer. Perfectly. Whom I might add would not have been necessary had it not been for the results of the first lawyer. It becomes all too apparent for a small few involved that I am quite capable of defending myself. I am the same as anybody else with regard to intellect and the abilities to educate myself, edify myself. I do, and have put in the months, the weeks, the days, the hours, and the seconds that all build the years of our lives, and I am no different. I don't have a degree except my high school diploma and my special education that was Lake of the Woods High, the license to do drywall as a business, as well as give people rides on a boat and take them fishing, or to see a whale, or what else might swim across our path on the fanatic that is my boat. Fanatic could be the description of my riding habits. Once, twice a day, all day, I've given each a try in my attempts to elucidate to the convoluted elsewheres of my life. Elusive become my freedoms as I become the slave of burden, the burden of excess. The excess becomes wretchedness, and there are no lights in my tunnel. Before I wed, I knew not of this tunnel of excess and wretchedness. Deception has taken my hand, leading into the darkness of its want, and on its level, by the Pied Pipers, the writing was on the wall. No justice for you, sheetrocker. Now be a good boy and go away, you poor uneducated bastard son of the unfortunate of our world who bask in the ranks and files of manual laborers. Go back to your bent back, and while you're at it, here, you must help the educated one be lifted, exalted from your kind. She is the enlightened one, you fool. Now go be a good boy, fool, and take your lumps, and go try to pay $52,000 without a job. You should have stayed in school, fool. No justice for you. Here's your bill. That's just how much it costs to give your rights away. And you just happen to be stupid enough to swallow this shit. One dose of shit deserves another, so the writing on the wall goes. So the diet of crap is on the menus of the uneducated, the fellow F students, without regards for how well they did in woodshop, metal shop, and the so-called other side of the brain classes. 10, maybe 20 crap diets. The obese are everywhere we look. We should be so lucky that thousands pile into the tens and hundreds and finally thousands. That's before we get back to giving the people that are corporations our money to bail them out interest-free. Who, and I repeat, who runs a business on interest-free loans to the ones we make millionaires? They have charged us interest all along. Capitalism is described as an economic system in which trade and industry are controlled by private owners. I felt like my wife was a capitalist controlling me. Well, that sums up that little tirade there, Professor Xerox.
Wow.
You know, what did you think about any of that?
That's that didn't go how I thought it was going to go. I thought you were going to have a happy ending.
Well, no, when you go through one lawyer and then another lawyer, and then you end up with a representing yourself, it's not good. And I wasn't innocent by any means, but in 8 years of marriage, we lived together twice for 3 months each time. And I could no longer, I couldn't understand the finances, how they were working. It was just like, the credit card debt just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so, I ended up getting hooked up with this Miss Robinson chick. And next thing you know, I'm getting a divorce, man. And I think it was, I don't know. I'm smiling now, but by the time it was all said and done, I hit shingles like 4 times. And the pain and suffering is what caused me to, just try to stand up for myself when I thought that nobody else would.
Well, that's good that you took care of business eventually. That's unfortunate though that it ended up like that, how it ended up in courts and disagreements, and it's just tragic.
I haven't even got to the part where she wanted to have kids, and so she came home and had to get a sperm sample from me. I mean, this gets deep, and I mean, I think that was all part of her plan. I mean, it's just like she was just playing with my mind, and I haven't even discussed the affairs yet, right? Hers or mine. So it's not easy to put the pieces of this puzzle back together again, and I don't know that I ever would really want to do that. I mean, her Ginger Waters was her boss, and I mean, who sleeps with their boss, right? And then Rocky Roads, oh man, this was incredible. And Rocky Roads, his spouse is at home dying while he's out, whooping it up with my Prudence, 2,000 miles away on the other side of, Zambezi in Yorkshire, the nation's capital. I was devastated, right? And I said, you better leave him. And she goes, I'm not leaving Rocky. Holy shit. Tore me up. You know what I mean? And then that's when I caught the shingles, right? That's when I got the shingles. I almost got him the first time when she had the affair with Ginger Waters. I was over there in Laredo, and I thought for sure I was going to get the shingle. I was sick, right? And I was like, going, what the hell's wrong with me? But it didn't happen. But the next time when it happened, oh my God, it floored me. Then the next time I got them was when I found out that my lawyer had illegally billed me and failed to carry malpractice insurance. How's that for a can of worms, right? And this all being in the past 10 years gone, right? I feel like I can finally talk about it a little bit, and that hopefully Prudence would forgive me, and that Rocky would forgive me, and Ginger Waters and all the rest of them would forgive me, and my Mrs. Robinson. I didn't mean to drag her into this mess, but God, I was just touch deprived, and I was lonely, terrible, and she made me feel like I was important again, and that's what we all want. We all want to feel like we're important. Damn it. You know what I mean?
And loved.
Yes, loved. That helps. Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but that's all the time we really have for tonight.
all right. Well, I just wanted to say it's just relationships, no matter what, they're not easy. So I appreciate your time, Professor Xerox, and I hope that next time maybe we can delve into, maybe look into some help for me. You know what I mean? Because I think I'm still messed up. You can tell. Look at me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the hat. I don't know. So,
We gotta go right now. Let's do it
all right.
again.